Hi, welcome. My name is Mike Ryan. I'm the owner and director of baseball training here at Fastball USA near Chicago, Illinois. You can check out my website at fastballusa.com as well as MikeRyanPerformance.com. This video is in regards to creating strength for the baseball player as it applies to creating power. And very specifically, what I'm going to talk to you today about is a few different things. Number one, if you are a baseball player, you need to change your mindset that you're not a baseball player, you are an athlete who plays baseball. And right there, I want to change your mindset because the more athletic you are, the easier it is to play the game. The more athletic you are, the easier it is to pull off high-level mechanics, movement patterns. It becomes so much easier. So what this video is about is helping you with daily exercises that you can create more power, more strength, more athleticism in order to help you swing a bat and really overall in baseball. So let me start with this. Remember, you're an athlete who plays baseball. That's number one. Number two, what you're looking for is total body strength, okay? So total body strength to me means that you can maneuver your body weight. In fact, your goal should be you need to dominate your body weight. And to get stronger, everybody's got a different starting point. So what you want to do is just slightly increase 1% a month, increase your strength. And over time, if you're doing these exercises, you're going to find over 2-3 months and over a year, you're going to find tremendous results in your overall performance. So dominating your body weight, what does that mean? So we start with, for example, things like body weight exercises. Can you dominate your body weight in a push-up? Give you an example here at Fastball USA in Chicago, I would say easily over 50% of our first-time students would struggle doing 10 good, perfect push-ups. And guys, that's an issue, okay? And that's what the general population out there is. So we need to get good at dominating our body weight. To give you an example, Prince Fielder, if you remember his body type, he was outstanding at dominating his body weight even though he was a bigger guy. In high school, he was incredible moving his body. Tim Lincecum is known to be small. However, he's very strong for his body weight. So people would talk about how he could walk in a room with his feet in the air and in a handstand position and walk around like that. So he's strong for his body weight, just like Prince Fielder was. And now you got a guy like Jose Altuve. And Altuve, let's face it, not the biggest guy in the world, is known for being small but being very athletic. But I've heard several people talk about how he may be one of the strongest guys in Major League Baseball. So how could that possibly be? Because he can dominate his body weight. So what we're trying to get here is, number one, greatness starts becoming good. You start becoming good on a daily basis. What I mean by that, you have to be consistent with your work. It's like brushing your teeth every day. If you skip a day, nobody's probably going to notice that. You skip a month or 2 or 3 or 4, you're definitely going to notice on the back end of that. So what we're trying to get you to do is be consistent with these exercises that I'm giving you in this program every single day. So again, dominate your body weight. Next thing that I want to point out is these exercises are very specific to movements as it relates to baseball and specifically hitting. So in movement patterns, what we're looking for is, for example, lateral movement. A hitter's got to move sideways. That's one way we have to dominate our body weight. 2, we also have to be very good at rotation. So in these exercises, you're going to see not just basic overall strength, but trying to get you to move the way a hitter would move, which is rotationally and laterally. And that is very crucial in developing foundational strength into a young athlete. And the third, and is very important in my opinion, is you have to train in the same energy system as it applies to baseball. And I'll give you an example of this. It takes you less than a second to swing a baseball bat. For a pitcher, it takes them about 2 seconds to deliver a pitch. The overall play in baseball is done inside of 5 seconds. So if you can imagine this, a ground ball hit to the third baseman, he dives, pops to his feet, throws it to first, the play is over. So baseball is played in what we call a quick twitch energy system. A technical term for it would be the ATP-CP system, which basically means you're using jet fuel to play this game. You hit a double in a gap, you're running from home to second. You're using that jet fuel. You're using quick twitch muscles. So in general, we don't like our baseball players to train slow. An example for that would be if you're just jogging around the field 5 times. That's training a slow twitch movement. But if I had you run a 5 or a 10-yard sprint as hard as you could, that is training a fast twitch movement. So with these exercises, we're not trying to get you to be out of breath. I think that's very important to understand that. What we're trying to do is develop overall strength, but also train in the same energy system. So in some of these exercises, you're going to notice that you're going to hear a beep. And all that beep is it's a clock. It'd be like you stopwatching yourself. And what we tell our guys is go as hard as you can up until about 12 seconds. Now, you can go less than 12 seconds, but we try to get our guys going as hard as possible for those 12 seconds. Now, the idea there is after about 12 seconds, you run out of jet fuel, no matter who you are. So once you start training for longer than that 12 seconds, say you start doing an exercise for 30 seconds, a 30-second exercise, what happens is your body starts to try to figure out how to survive the exercise. That's endurance. You're trying to figure that out. But in baseball, you don't need a lot of endurance. What you need is explosiveness. And these exercises are trying to guide you towards those explosiveness. So I always tell our players, the good news is we're only going for 10 seconds or 12 seconds, whatever it is. The bad news is you got to go as hard as you can for 10 or 12 seconds. Now remember, in between exercises, make sure you catch your breath. I don't want you out of breath before you start the next exercise. And the reason for that is I need you to go as hard as you can again and again and again. Remember, if you want to become fast, you need to train fast. And a key to getting fast is actually building a base of strength and then trying to move your body weight as fast as possible. So one way to build more power is really specific. If you're 5'8" and 150 pounds, well, you got to figure out how to move 5'8", 150 pounds faster. And you also have to do it as specific as possible in relation to the hitting or throwing motions as it applies to baseball. I'm glad that you came out and purchased this today. I've got a dozen exercises here I'm going to show you, and I want you to kind of make sure the key parts of this is that you are going to be consistent with your work every day. Okay, so don't do these once a week. These are daily exercises, and you'll start to see growth, strength improvements, even mindset improvements in a short amount of time. Your goal should be get 1% better every month. That's 1% better a month, and I'm sure most of you out there, all of you out there, would enjoy a 10 to 12% improvement each and every year.
Exercise number 1 we refer to as sideway run with a low hurdle. And what we're doing here with low hurdles is he's running back and forth 3 hurdles, and we're timing him inside a 7-second time range. And the idea is to see how many hurdles he can cross inside of 7 seconds. Once he's done, we give him a break, let him a chance to catch his breath, about 20 to 30 seconds, and then we go again. If you don't have hurdles, don't worry about it. We also do mental hurdles, which is where we're pretending like we have hurdles, and pretending like we have 3 hurdles, and we go back and forth as fast as we can. Once again, we try to not to exceed about 7 seconds in this agility portion, because we're trying to just simply get our body to move as fast as possible and work in the same energy system that we're using when we play the game. Now notice, really the main rules here are use your arms, and don't cross your feet over. Worry less about being pretty and just get the body to move as fast as possible. That is sideways run. Exercise 2, we use a ladder, and then what we do here is this is called a shuffle drill. So all he's doing is he's shuffling through 3 boxes. He's going forward and then he's going backwards. Everything that we do forward, we like to do backwards. And again, once again, here we don't want to cross our feet, but the idea is to go about a maximum of 7 seconds as fast as you can, and you can count the boxes that you go through. And once again, if you don't have a ladder, no big deal. You could do a mental ladder where you're imagining 3 boxes forward, 3 boxes back. Some people will even put tape on the ground and put a box in there. You can do that as well. In this exercise, once again, emphasize that the feet are not crossing and the arms are interacting. But the big thing is move as fast as you can inside of 7 seconds and count the boxes you go through. Exercise number 3 is a machine gun. And what we're doing here is 1 foot is in the ladder, 1 foot is out, and we're twisting our hips, our shoulders are staying square, and we're interacting our arms. Once again, move your hips as fast as possible. Try to stay within 5 to 7 seconds, and you can also count how many times your feet go in and out of the ladder. Just like everything else that we do, if you don't have a ladder, you could just simply do a mental ladder where you're just jumping back and forth and trying to get the body to move as fast as possible. Or like we said, you could put a piece of tape down on the ground and you could work in and out of the tape going as fast as you can. Either way, the bottom line is try not to exceed about 7 seconds on the agility portion and move as fast as possible. Exercise number 4 is we refer to as an ice skater. We simply set up 2 cones and have the athlete jump side to side with his back leg crossing slightly behind his front leg. We also set the cones there so he has a target for his hands to try to touch the cone or near the cone. As he's going back and forth, he's transferring energy from one leg to the other leg. This is very beneficial in terms of a baseball player because a baseball player has a lot of lateral movement, and specifically a hitter, he has to transfer energy from one leg to the other leg. And also an alternative to this exercise is we put weights in your hand. So he's got weights in his hand, either something light, 1 or 2 pound weights. It just adds an element of balance as you're going back and forth. And the next exercise, in exercise 5, we do prisoner squats. In prisoner squats, the hands are behind the head, the feet are wide enough, and the feet are slightly pointed out. Key emphasis here is keep your heels on the ground as you go down. Try to maintain your posture, keep your chest up. Really important to keep your eyes looking straight ahead as you're doing these prisoner squats. And as you see, as he goes down, you can notice how wide his feet are. Look at the toes slightly pointed out, hands behind the head, and really good posture. Once again, try to keep your eyes looking forward as you do these exercises. Exercise number 6 is what we call an alternating lunge. So we're trying to get our back knee low to the ground. Try to keep your back straight, and you're jumping as high as you can in the air and then transferring your energy back and forth. Once again, you could do these for reps or time. I wouldn't do any more than 10 or 12 reps at one time, or you can go 10 to 12 seconds on this where you're just going as fast as you can. Once again, you can see how high he's going to get, and then as soon as he gets low, he springs back up. Once again, make sure your posture, you're looking forward and keep your chest up. Here it is in slow motion. You can see as he gets down, he's immediately transferring his energy. This is great for learning how to change directions of your body and how to create power and how to train your body for that. The next exercise is what we call alternating lunges. So now you're doing the same thing, except now you're doing it with a twist. It's alternating lunges with a twist. He's turning his hips and shoulders. So now what we're dealing is we're transferring energy, but hitting is very rotational. So he's also now practicing rotation as he goes. So he's trying to almost replace his shoulders as he's doing his lunge. This is a great way to add and really kind of get ready for power hitting, which is really trying to get your hips and shoulders involved into everything that you do. As you can see him going through, try to get your back knee low to the ground, and remember the alternate side. So as you start to twist, as it goes down.
8.
The next exercise we have, an exercise number 8, goes to upper half. And what we're doing here is a negative push-up. So I'm counting down on a 10 count. And he's slowly lowering his body down on a 10 count. And then he would slowly bring his body up on a 5 count.
9, 8.
So you can see this here as he's going slowly down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then he's slowly working his back way up on a 5 count. Make sure your back is perfectly straight. Your rear end is pretty close to your chest. Posture is very important. Now, some people are only going to be able to do one of these. So my suggestion is if you could do one of these, do one of these a day, and then every week add one. So by the time you're into week 4, you could be doing 4 per day.
10.
Consistency is going to be what's important into the system. So if you want to become great, it's important to really get these 12 exercises done every day, be consistent with it, and then you can slowly increase reps over time. This is just another version. The next exercise that we do is a push-up with a T. And what he's doing here is he's going onto one arm and he's stacking one foot on top of the other. You watch him as he goes down, and then he stacks one foot on top of the other. Also notice that his eyes are following his hands all the way up to make sure all of his weight gets on one arm. This is a great way to build dynamic strength. And again, the stronger you start to get, the easier it's going to be to move your body weight. So this is a body weight exercise that is very, very important if you're going to start to become faster and more explosive on the baseball diamond. And again, that's push-up with a T, is like we call that. So you watch him go back and forth, watch his eyes, follow his hand, and what you can see back there, one foot is stacking on top of the other. The next exercise is what we call an alternating plyometric push-up. And what he's doing here is he's pushing himself up, obviously off the ground, but he's also alternating his hands. And one push-up, his right hand's in front of his left, and then his left hand is in front of his right. So the key here is keep your good push-up posture and good technique, but also spring yourself up off the ground, alternating your hands. Once again, right hand ahead of left, and then left hand ahead of right. This is what we call alternating plyometric push-ups. Now, there is an alternative to this, and you can also do this. It's not a replacement, it's just an alternative, where you just do straight up plyometric push-ups, where you push up and bring yourself up off the ground and you land in the same position. The difference is you're not alternating your hands, you're simply doing a push-up and landing in the same position. You can see how he's getting off the ground and then he's landing in the same position. So you could do either one. What we like to do is mix up the training a little bit. This is just a way to mix it up. You can see it in slow motion. He still goes all the way down in a push-up position and then brings himself up. Now we go to our medicine ball series, and what we call these is side-to-side touch on the ground. The rule here is basically keep your knees bent and keep your feet off the ground. You can see the feet are crossed as we go back and forth. Now, Jack in this video is using a handled medicine ball. You could use a regular medicine ball. You just hold it on each side. The handled med ball is just a fancier way to do the same exercise. Again, you could use a regular medicine ball when you do it. Not a big deal. So when you're going back and forth, I would do this on the clock with time. Is you go back and forth, set the timer to, say, for example, 10 to 12 seconds, and see how many side-to-side touches you can get in 10 to 12 seconds. This is a way to work on both power and speed while you're working on rotation. This is a core exercise that'll help you with your core strength and get your abdominals stronger. Now, not a replacement, but an alternative to this exercise, you could do the same thing except up against a wall. So what Jack's demonstrating here is he's going side to side touching a wall. The only difference is he's twisting his hands over as he goes ahead and does that. So the keys here is get into an athletic position and work back and forth touching the wall. Get close enough to the wall where you're not really getting off balance. And once again, you could set a timer, say to 12 seconds, and see how many times you could touch that wall in 12 seconds. Because then you're not only working on strength, but you're working on speed. And remember, the idea is to get the body to move as fast as possible. There you get a little look, a slow motion look at how exactly that works. One hand crossing on top of the other and just going back and forth. And you notice his feet are pretty much firmly on the ground. He's mainly using his core. My next exercise is reverse medicine ball throw. And what we do is we start with the shoulders completely rotated, and then we rotate back and then fire the medicine ball into the wall. This follows some of our hitting training as well. So the shoulders are completely replaced. We reverse back and then we throw. Key here is keep the medicine ball right around the chest area, and then reverse back and throw it by loading your elbow back almost behind you, and keep the hand under your body and go ahead and do the throw. As you watch guys do this, first of all, do this for your left side and your right side. Do both sides. Anything you do for one side, you should do for the other side as well. The other thing I want to add to this is you'll notice the X's on the wall. Anytime we throw medicine balls, we like to throw them into targets. So make sure you set a target into your throw by putting something on a wall, marking a spot. It helps with coordination, and that's what basically strength is, right? We're trying to do coordination training while we're doing strength. So having a more specific target is a very good thing to add into your training. And the next exercise we do is a jump back. Now what he's doing here is he's loading back onto his back leg, literally jumping back into his back leg, and then rotationally firing the ball into a target. And again, you could alternate the targets you're shooting for. Typically we have something either head high, chest high, or slightly below the chest. Again, load back into the back leg and then turn around and fire. This is a great way to add energy. And like I tell our guys all the time, you want to either break the wall or break the ball. That's your mindset as you load back and you fire the ball. You're trying to work on being explosive into your power with all of your medicine ball throws. Your technique needs to be good, but the idea is to be as explosive as possible. You're trying to take that energy and transfer it into rotational power. After you've completed those 12 exercises, we like to finish with what we call double knee thoracic spine. This is a way to work on the stretching and the opening up the thoracic spine, which actually helps you get better at rotating. So it's really stretching and mobility to allow you to rotate. As your player gets older, especially into his teen years, we get limited in our rotational ability. Remember, rotation is power and power is rotation. So this double knee exercise, he got his left hand in front of his knee, and he's slowly wrapping around the other knee, and he's going slow. We want to do this at about an 8 to 10 count. And as you open up, lead with your elbow and allow yourself to follow your hand with your eyes. So as you wrap around, see how the elbow leads, and then follow it up with your eye. Once again, keep your rear end close to your heels. As you start to open up, go up slowly. Lead first with your elbow and let the eyes follow your hand. This is not a race. I would do 10 to each side, both your right to your left side. Hand that's on the ground, that should be right in front of your knee, and go slowly. This is a great way to open up your ability to rotate. Over time, you're going to slowly notice that you're going to get better, which is going to be important when you're hitting a baseball. This is our bonus section. This begins with exercises that you could add into your routine anytime you want to. This is first what we call push-ups with a twist. You're going to notice he goes down to a push-up position, twists his left leg across, then his right leg across. This is just a variation and a great way to keep your training from getting stale. All of these bonus exercises you can add in anytime you want. So you see these push-up, left, right, push-up, left, right, push-up, left, right. Of course, always maintain perfect posture in your push-up. Go all the way down and all the way back. Here it is again. Slow motion, push-up. See how he slides his left leg under and then his right leg under. Push-up, left leg, right. The next one is a step behind medicine ball throw. So still throwing into the targets like we were doing before, but now you're getting your feet moving forward. Watch how his feet start to move forward. He loads his back elbow back and fires the ball into the target. Key here, always make sure your shoulders are completely replaced each other at the end of the throw. Remember, we want to be as rotational as possible on our medicine ball throws, and we want this to directly be applicable to your hitting process as possible. The next bonus exercise we have is leg lifts, side to side leg lifts, and you start with your legs in the air. The goal is to keep your shoulders square on the ground, so keep your hands out off to the side like in a T, and let your legs very slowly go over to the right, and then bring them back up in front of you, and then very slowly go over to the left. This is not easy. You will have to work on this and gradually get better over time, but you could work on this as another great core exercise to add into your training plan. Finally, we have inchworms, where we max out how far we walk out. So he's going to do it with a push-up. He pushes up, and then he walks his hands out as far as he can. The goal is to don't let your body completely touch the ground. And then you'll walk your hands out and keep your legs straight. And on the way back, he does it backwards, where he does the push-up, and then he walks out as far as he can without letting his body touch the ground, and then he walks his hands to his feet. And the final bonus exercise here is we got an overhead slam throw. Once again, we have targets on the ground. He's bringing the ball up over his head and slamming the ball down to the ground. So he brings it back up over his head, and he slams the ball to the ground, side to side on your med ball. One final note on your medicine ball stuff. Anything that you're doing with med balls, you don't need fancy medicine balls if it's just used doing personalized training. So I would just find something that works best for you. For most of our athletes, a 4-pound med ball is going to work pretty good because they can still move fast while using the medicine ball. So don't try to overweight and go too heavy. The idea is that you can work on both strength and speed at the same time. So if you're just one individual, I would just find a economical med ball, maybe go on Amazon and see what's best for you. Just as a reminder, you could check out more of my programs at fastballusa.com or at MikeRyanPerformance.com. And remember, keys here: be consistent with your exercises. Do these exercises daily. This is a great complement to the hitting training, and you will be able to really maximize your ability. Now remember, just get slightly better every day, every month. If you get 1% better every month, that adds up to 12% a year, and anybody out there will take a 12% improvement. So get better over time, stay consistent with the exercises, and good luck in your training.